The Rise analyst Rotimi Kade joins me now from Texas to talk briefly on the incident that sparked social media debate about the White House handling of the matter with regards to the post-op about the Obamas, something we've not talked about on this platform. So we'll talk about it briefly now. So Rotimi, how does Trump's refusal to apologize for sharing a racist video depicting the Obamas as apes reflect on the state of racial discourse in American politics? And what implications does this have for the perception of the U.S.?
Well, first of all, I want to say that particular post was very disgusting, and it should be widely condemned. And I think President Trump also realizes that, and what he did was to order that to be taken down. But one thing that actually stood out in that interview is the fact that he said, well, he didn't make any mistake, that the purpose of that particular meme that he shared was about voter fraud. And, the 3 seconds or 4 seconds video of depicting the Obamas as apes actually overtook the intention of his initial video. Well, I think it's up for debate whether the president initially or intentionally shared that video, because when you look at that video, I try to take a look at a YouTube video. It's really a long video, and how, just that 1 second or few seconds of Obama's depiction caught up, in that election denial video. So it's really a lot of mixed bag of reactions that have been permeating the political space here in the United States.
Rotimi, I'm wondering, in what ways could this incident impact diplomatic relations between the U.S. and other countries, particularly those with significant African or African diasporic populations? Would it cause any issues?
I think, first of all, we know that, President Trump history about, calling African countries some very despicable names in the past. So I think he has made his intentions known from the get-go. So this obviously is not going to be a surprise for a lot of African countries. And we've seen, even despite, making such statements in the past, he has had, meetings with African countries, African leaders, over, development, etc. So I don't think this would definitely outrage Africa. As a matter of fact, we've not seen any African leader openly condemning that particular video.
So I'm wondering, right, how does Trump's use of social media, particularly Truth Social, influence the dissemination of information and racist content? Some of these platforms, there are filters for certain words that cannot be used. So this is quite disturbing if Truth Social does not have such, regulations in place.
Well, I think, well, I'm going to say this, that the President Trump actually left, Twitter, now known as X, for reasons best known to him. He wanted to, I think it was kicked out at a particular time, and he decided to set up his own social media company that will reflect his views and some of his followers. I think the Truth Social is serving the purpose, which is, to engender the conservative views. Unfortunately, we've seen so many far-right activists, embracing Truth Social, because for some reason, Truth Socials actually have that vulnerability and freedom to anybody who shares their conservative views on it. I think going forward, Truth Social can do better, bringing down comments or memes that can eat up the politics.
So, can you also analyze the role of artificial intelligence in generating and spreading racist imagery as seen in the Obama's video, and what measures can be taken to prevent such misuse? You know that AI is out of hand these days. You could just take a picture, you and I can be talking, and AI has a way of, just, I don't know, it's very smart. But how can, some of these contents or AI, the regulation, how can it be used to filter racist content?
Well, I think it's been a kind of a concern to the government, and that's the reason why there was a congressional hearing sometimes around April last year, where one of the big players in AI, space, Sam Altman, came for this congressional hearing, and he actually warned the United States government that if nothing is taken serious in terms of regulations, that there could be adverse consequences because the extent or the capacity on of AI development in the United States could be getting out of hand. And what we've seen in less than a year after that congressional hearing is an outburst, or will I say proliferation of misuse of AI on our social media space. Well, with this particular incident of the Obamas, I think that could actually trigger another congressional hearing, and this time around, make it a law to actually restrict people from misusing AI for the wrong use.
Trump's response to criticism from within his own party, such as Senator Tim Scott's condemnation, reveal about the internal dynamics of the Republican Party and its stance on racial issues. Plus, what do you think this incident would affect? How would it affect U.S.'s global reputation as a champion of human rights and democracy? Plus, how could they have been steps, taken to repair the damage?
Well, I think the good thing about Senator Tim Scott, the only Black Republican in the Senate, was really apt. He actually condemned it, and he told the White House to actually bring it down. I think the president actually listened to him. He's a well-respected member of the Senate of the Republican Party. He felt very offended by that particular video, and that actually helped, sort of did some sort of damage control. And going forward, that speaks about how international community will be dealing with this administration. I think President Trump is very unprecedented, and everybody knows that. And 75 million people that voted for him knew that what he's capable of. And some people kind of fancy his style of government, of he can say anything. It doesn't have to be presidential like Obama, the Bidens, Clintons, etc. But the global community is, sternly, watching, what kind of steps can they, and how can they deal with this particular White House under the Trump administration. Are they going to be walking on eggshells? Are they going to go tit for tat? So it's a whole lot of things to really be considering when it comes to, dealing with this administration, because we've seen some of these outrageous tweets, from not just from the president's handle, but also from the White House handle as well.
Rotimi Kade, a Rise analyst, joined us from Texas to talk about this particular issue from over the week. Thank you so much for the time.